Robert Irwin, the 21-year-old torchbearer of an Australian icon spirit, is carving a path that extends far beyond the crocodile enclosures and dance floors of his public persona. Son of the legendary Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter whose infectious zeal brought wildlife to living rooms worldwide, Robert has inherited not just a conservation empire but a profound sense of purpose. At Australia Zoo, where he wrangles reptiles with the same fearless charisma as his father, and on Dancing with the Stars, where he twirls with surprising grace, Robert's days are a whirlwind of adrenaline and applause. Yet, in quieter moments he turns to a solitary pursuit that bridges his personal identity with the family legacy: photography. In a revealing cover story conversation, Robert peeled back the layers of his multifaceted life, articulating how the click of a shutter has become his intimate dialogue with heritage. I found it a very individual thing for me because I have always felt like I am part of something that's so much bigger than just myself, he reflected, his voice carrying the weight of expectation tempered by quiet pride. The Irwin legacy, forged by Steve and Terry Irwin through decades of documentaries, park expansions and global advocacy, spans generations, touching millions through education and action. Robert, alongside sister Bindi and mother Terry, shoulders this mantle daily, from habitat restorations to anti-poaching campaigns. A legacy that is huge and that has spanned generations that my dad and my mom shared, he continued, acknowledging the privilege laced with pressure. For Robert, photography emerged as a personal sanctuary, a way to honor that vast narrative while etching his own chapter. It's a real privilege to continue that, but photography became kind of Robert's way to continue that legacy. It was very individual for me. This affinity for the lens isn't a recent whim but a slow-burn evolution, rooted in a childhood immersed in cinematic wonder. Growing up amid the Irwin's conservation odysseys, expeditions to remote rainforests, underwater coral quests, and savanna safaris, Robert was a constant companion to crews wielding high-end gear. I have always just loved being behind the camera as much as in front of the camera, he admitted, highlighting a duality that sets him apart from predecessors who thrived in the spotlight. Steve's on-screen bravado was magnetic, but Robert appreciates the artistry off-screen, the meticulous framing that turns chaos into story. I think it's just being around cinematographers and being in that world for a really long time, you get a great appreciation for that craft, he explained. Those early exposures weren't passive, they were apprenticeships in patience and precision, lessons in how light bends to capture a predator's gaze or a flower's fleeting bloom. As a teen, Robert began packing cameras on these conservation projects, transforming obligatory trips into creative quests. And growing up I was able to visit the most amazing locations in the world on conservation projects, and I would end up taking a camera with me and it just developed from there, he shared, evoking images of dusty trails in Africa or misty mornings in the Amazon, where his lens became an extension of curiosity. Wildlife photography, for Robert, transcends documentation, it's communion. He chases not just the majestic, the thundering herds or soaring eagles, but the subtle, dew-kissed insects, shadow play on bark, the quiet resilience of endangered flora. His portfolio, shared sparingly on social media, reveals a maturing eye, compositions that balance raw power with poetic stillness, colors that pop against backdrops of untamed earth. Yet, Robert doesn't romanticize the craft entirely, he confronts its gritty realities head-on. Wildlife photographers face one major hazard, and it's not poisonous animals. Thieves, he noted wryly, a nod to the perils of remote fieldwork. In regions where gear rivals a local's annual income, pilfering is rife, demanding vigilance alongside vision. This candor underscores Robert's grounded ethos, inherited from Steve's no-nonsense approach. Beyond aesthetics, his images serve activism. Fundraising prints for habitat protection, awareness posts that rally donations. Collaborations with National Geographic and wildlife NGOs amplify his voice, turning pixels into policy change. Photography also heals, a thread connecting Robert to his father's memory. Steve's death in 2006, a stingray tragedy at 44, left a void Robert navigates through art. Capturing sunsets over the zoo's lagoons or Bindi's tender care of koalas evokes Steve's wonder, a visual eulogy to lost adventures. Terry's support, unwavering through grief's tides, fuels this exploration. Her recent 61st birthday tribute from Robert brimmed with gratitude for her resilience. As he balances zoo duties, TV spots, and now lens work, Robert embodies holistic legacy building, body, mind, and eye aligned. In a world craving authenticity, Robert's passion inspires young creators, proving conservation and creativity coexist. His journey from croc wrangler to shutterbug, illuminates paths less trodden, ensuring the Irwin roar echoes through frames that freeze forever.